And welcome back to what is probably a bit of a long-awaited episode here on the channel, because today we are finally going to be covering all the new additions, bug fixes, and changes in A.C.E.S MC Overhaul Update 1.0.5, which came out at this point like almost a full month ago. So this is probably... You need to shut up, Flamingo. This is probably like the longest amount of time that's passed between a release itself and an update video, so let's just hop right into it. So first and foremost, like always, we are going to start with the additions, and this update only had one single addition, which is that the sickle, the stone sickle I should say, is no longer alone, and it has different versions of all its types. You can see that the gold one and the iron one and the diamond one don't quite look right. Like if I look up gold, you can see the gold one was down here, but then gold tools look nothing like it. And it's the same deal with iron and diamond. The iron one just doesn't quite look right, and neither does the gold one. That was an oversight on my end. I totally just pulled textures from blocks that I already had. For example, the diamond block, so you can see here, I believe this is a slight tweak that I made where this diamond block texture didn't quite match this one, and now it is a lot similar, a lot closer, a lot more similar. But I also pulled my diamond textures from my sickle from this, so it ends up being a lot brighter and kind of differently colored, but that's okay. That'll probably be fixed in the next update. But all of these sickles should do pretty much the same thing when you use them. It doesn't really matter. They just got different attack speeds and different damages and whatnot. So you can see, for example, here the diamond sickle has 6 attack speed and 6 damage and 2 attack speed. This one has a little bit faster attack speed, but a little bit less damage. More damage than previously, but still a slower attack speed. And they're all just kind of work that same way. But either way, whenever you come here, there's also a bug fix with these sickles, where before, if I were to break a crop like this carrot, it would have destroyed every single crop in the entire area, and that is a no go, because of course the other crops are not grown. So if I were to break this crop here, you can see I'm in survival, it will only break this crop now because it is the only one that's fully grown. But if we say bone meal this tomato crop to be fully grown, and this strawberry crop and this beetroot crop, and then we try again, well, just embarrassed me, I guess. Let's try again. Okay, well, see, that worked a little bit, but you can see that we are definitely still having some bugs. That's something I was unaware of. Let me try one more time with this. Okay, so that seemed to work. Is it the case that hitting a double tall crop does not work? Okay, no, that did work. Let me try the exact instance that we tried before again. So we have beetroots. Whoa, that took so much bone meal. Tomatoes, strawberries, and then break this tomato. Okay, so that seems to be the issue, is tomatoes specifically only work for other tomatoes, and don't seem to be working for any other crop, which is strange. But all the other crops, as far as I can tell, do seem to be working. Yep, and they only break and drop. Oh, same with beetroot. So something else you'll notice is that the sickle is capable of harvesting the pumpkin, but will not harvest the stem. So if I go ahead and break this, it does indeed break that pumpkin there, but it leaves the stem, which is kind of nice. As far as this bug goes, it looks like tomato crops just don't have the ability to detect grown crops around them. So you can see when I break this tomato crop here, it'll break this other tomato crop, but it doesn't break these two. And beetroots, for some reason, don't detect any crops whatsoever. So if I go ahead and break this beetroot, okay, so beetroot isn't detecting other beetroot when you break it, but is detecting other crops. So it's just, the sickle is still a little bit weird, but we have gotten it so that it is working much better, and you have several different variants. So moving right along to changes, and the first thing we're going to talk about is the rebalance I've done to all the new ores and materials in game. That not only affects all of these armors, but also all the tools. So for example, if I come in here and type pickaxe, before, you will have noticed the mithril the tungsten pickaxe was simply by far the best. It had the best attack speed, the best damage, the best efficiency, the best durability. It was simply the best. But I've gone ahead and reworked how all of that kind of is calculated, and now there is a true decision to be made when deciding what to make your pick out of. So if we take a look right here, you can see when it comes to attack damage and attack speed, the iron has the highest attack damage out of all of these, but the lowest attack speed. Silver has the highest attack speed, but the lowest attack damage. So actually, I think that's lead has the highest attack speed, but the lowest attack damage. So they also have varying degrees of efficiency and varying durabilities. I know tungsten happens to be the most durable. I think it actually goes something like this, from least durable over here to most durable over here. However, I have a big chart and graph that I made that breaks down every single piece, every single tool, because I did tweak all of them and how they match each other. So this here is all of the iron tier tools and their stats. You can see where they're the same, you can see where they are different, and there is a bit of a strategy now as to which one you use and which one you want to make for what tool, and etc. The armor for all of the iron tier ones is just completely identical. It's just simply a fashion choice as to which one you want to wear. This is the gold tier tools and whatnot. All of them are once again very similar but have their own little quirks. So gold is incredibly efficient. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is the most efficient, but mithril has really good enchants. So in the future, if there is in the future, if there is ever a way to remove an enchantment but still keep it, enchanting mithril might be the best move because it gives you the best enchants to begin with. And this here is the diamond, the gold, the not the gold, the diamond, the ruby, the platinum, the titanium. I believe their armor sets once again are all the same. It is simply a fashion choice, but their materials are different and broken down right here in this chart. All in all, there's not too much to know. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that iron and diamond have the highest overall damage, and ruby and silver have the fastest swing but lowest damage. But if you actually do the math and you manage to hit their swings at the fastest rate, they have the highest damage, but tungsten has the highest durability, and so does titanium. So there's just some trade-offs on what all you want to do. There's not just one clear winner anymore, which should hopefully be really nice. And while we're at it, we can actually talk about some bug fixes. Previously, diamond armor and using diamond armor to craft netherite was kind of weird and buggy because I had messed some stuff up, but you should now be able to craft netherite armor using diamond, and you should also now be able to craft all netherite tier armors using ruby. That's something I actually had forgotten. So piglin armor, netherite armor, and soul armor you couldn't use ruby for, but now you can. That has been fixed, and all piglin and netherite armor should now be craftable as expected. There shouldn't be any bugs with that like there was in the previous one. So hopefully all of our tier 4 armors, technically they would be, are all fixed and worked out, and don't have any bugs related to them anymore. In a similar vein or mindset, I have rebalanced the Daemonus Manus and the Skull Scooper here to be the truly better than Netherite like they are supposed to. These are supposed to be one tier above Netherite tools. However, with the most recent version of Mcreator, so this shouldn't affect you guys, it should actually be fixed. But in the current version that I'm playing, I believe how I rebalanced these was just completely removed from Mcreator, so I'll have to rebalance them in the next update, otherwise they'll be broken again. But I think for the update that has already come out, they should be fine. They should be truly stronger than Netherite tools. Speaking of the Skull Scooper, it is now repaired using full Wither Skeleton skulls. It can no longer be repaired using skull fragments. It used to be that you would repair it with fragments, but I decided it is pretty much an entire skull on there. I wanted to make it a little bit more expensive, so it is repaired using full on Wither Skeleton skulls. The stone knife, also just called the knife right now only uses one piece of cobblestone. I believe the recipe used to be 2 cobblestone, just like this. So this can now be crafted just in your inventory. You don't need a crafting table, and it's also just a little bit cheaper, something I think makes a little bit more sense. The knife will probably be getting its own variants, like iron and diamond and etc., the same way the sickle did, in a near update coming soon. Conveyor belts are now crafted using iron tier ingots. It used to be gray carpet, which I thought was, hard enough to get, but I've decided to switch it to iron tier ingots just because I think this makes a bit more sense with the theme of kind of how Minecraft would work anyways. Thorny vines are now compostable, with a 50% chance of being successfully composted every time. And magma shard burn time has yet again been changed, this time nerfed from 12 to 9. So it's still more than coal, but it's not something so ridiculous as to rival blaze rods. The antidote effect, which is what you get from eating monster jerky, as you can see right there, will now remove all tiers of the venom effect from you. So if you are being attacked by a set of spiderlings, which let's see if I can get these guys to spawn in without dying. Let's spawn in a few of them there. Go to survival mode, and you'll notice immediately I immediately get a ton of stacks of venom, and I tried to eat my monster jerky. I'm not sure it worked, but it should now remove all stacks of oh no. A bug that was preventing platinum, titanium, and ruby from spawning below y equals -140 is now fixed. So when you're going all the way down and doing your diamond mines, you should be able to find these ores much more frequently than before. It should actually be pretty much the same frequency that you find diamonds at. This is something that I've been working on honing in and fixing up for a while now, because these ores, as far as I am aware, are pretty much impossible to get, but they should now spawn just as frequently as diamonds. Something I forgot to mention with the earlier armors is that I've tweaked most of their inventory images. So you can see here that this is how the vanilla armor looks, and then now all my modded armor looks pretty much the same. It's a little washed out, I've noticed. It's all kind of on the lighter side, so I'll kind of make my dark colors even darker to create more contrast, and then it should look pretty much normal. Whereas before, the borders for each of these were solid black, which created an old school vanilla, like classic Minecraft look. It now matches the existing Minecraft textures a lot better. The elder spider here now has a 10% chance, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, 10% chance to spawn in back up when hit. So if I just keep punching him here, eventually he should... There we go. He should spawn him some spiderlings just like that. Now, after that little demo right there, I think I might up that amount. So if I give myself, let's say, a ruby sword, which should be just about the highest damage I'm able to do, and just spam away, I've gotten one set of successful backup. That's much less than I want. So I'll probably end up doubling that, maybe even making it a 25% chance to successfully call in backup. But as of right now, it is only a 10%, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Something you may have noticed while I was fighting that elder spider is that the elder spider itself now has custom animations. So you can see it is breathing just like any normal entity would. It has its own idle animation. When I hit it, it has its own hurt animations. Its legs kind of move a little bit, and when it dies, unless I forgot to program it in, which is quite possible, let me just go ahead and try again. Yes, okay, so I've forgotten to give it death animations, but that should be something coming in the next update. It's actually, as long as I get it working, should have a pretty freaking cool custom death animation instead of just falling on its side. You will also have noticed that the spiderlings themselves got their own custom idle and attack animations. Well, at least they should have got, yeah, they've gotten their own little custom idle animations. You can see their heads moving, and their own little walk animations as well. So did the giant spider. It now has its own little walk animations and its own little idle animations, as you can see. And so has the geode golem. which you can see right here. The Geode Golem has also gotten itself its own custom idle animations, and that there is its attack animation. It's not currently lined up right, so you'll see that it shoots the amethyst shard and then does the animation. But the idea is that it is pulling the shards off of its back and then throwing them at the enemy. Which, wow, that guy did not attack very hard. Maybe I should increase his attack speed. Something else you may have missed is that they do ranged attacks, whereas before they would do melee attacks, and they also walk much, much slower. They also suck. They have terrible... Oh, is he trying to hit this hamster? This guy has terrible aim. There you go. Finally hit him. But last but not least, we have bug fixes, including finally being able to craft fertilized dirt. Now, this is a recipe that has been bugged pretty much for the entirety of the mod pack, but is finally fixed and can now be crafted. Aluminum ore should now be spawning properly. Before, it was tagged wrong and wouldn't replace stone or replaceables. It pretty much would only spawn in patches of marble, which made it incredibly rare, or at deep slate values, which once again, the deep slate aluminum is pretty rare to begin with, so it was just incredibly rare, but it should now be spawning as normal. Redstone bricks and their variants should no longer spawn naturally in Badlands biomes. Before, I believe that every single one of these blocks had a chance to generate underneath a Badlands, whereas it's supposed to just be redstone. I mean, let me just put that in perspective. This is the only block that's meant to spawn, and all of these were also spawning, which, you know, obviously is a bit of an issue, but this should now be the only block that is spawning redstone. Everyone's favorite bug fix, maple fence gates should now be craftable. I know this is something you guys were just dying for. It's really killing you. Well, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Cobalt ore now only requires an iron tier pickaxe or greater to give drops. Before, you needed at least a diamond tier to get drops, and whenever it dropped items, it would drop double cobalt. So as you can see, I have actually fixed that. It only drops one piece of cobalt every time, and you only need an iron tier pickaxe. Something else you may have noticed is that when I break this item, it's kind of hard to tell, but the items all spawn right in the center of the block, as they should. Before, they were kind of spawning in one of the corners, and then sometimes they would clip into other blocks, causing them to be thrown all over the place while you were mining. But they should spawn pretty much in the center every time now, and you shouldn't have that problem anymore. There was also a bug where toolsmith villagers would have a chance to sell ruby pickaxes at level 1. This has now been changed to level 5, like it is supposed to be. And I noticed while playing on my Let's Play that some of the dirt items would get a weird black border if I got too far away from them. This is probably because the texture file itself did not fit the size of the block exactly, so when you got away it became more visible, but as you can see now, it looks totally fine. There are no black borders, and any other items or blocks that have this bug, which it is quite possible that blocks have this bug, because as of right now, or as of the past, I have had to, every time I want to use a vanilla texture, either go into the game files themselves, pull out the vanilla texture, or go into like the wiki or something and screen clip the texture itself so that I can use it, thus resulting in slightly off or different textures. However, Mcreator, with its most recent update, if you haven't seen that video, I suggest you go check it out. I have covered it on my channel. But with its most recent update, have made it so that I can now reference vanilla textures directly. So any sort of bugs related to vanilla texturing should now be fixed, hopefully in the very near future. I have had some problems getting it to work thus far, but apparently that is a bug that's just happening. So hopefully it'll be fixed very, very soon. And one of our final bug fixes is that right-clicking a piece of farmland on the side would remove the seed from your inventory, regardless of whether or not it successfully planted the crop. So if I go ahead and switch my game mode back to survival, and I right click here, you'll see that my modded seeds no longer are consumed when I right click the side of a block. It is only when it is successfully placed, so I can't just accidentally spam and lose all of my seeds by doing this. And our final item on the list of bug fixes for this update is that I have actually gone through every item, every single modded item I have, and checked the crafting recipe and verified that the crafting recipes are working. So there's probably a good 100 or so crafting recipes that weren't working and are now working that I have not mentioned in this video. I'm not gonna mention them. I didn't write them all down because this thing, it literally took me like 6 to 7 hours to go through all these and check them. I did use JEI, which helped. That mod was a lifesaver with doing this, but it was still a pain in my ass. So I'm not gonna tell you what's going on. Assume everything is now craftable, and if you find any new bugs, let me know. But that should be everything for this update 1.0.5. I know it was mostly just a quality of life and features change, not too many additions. You can probably expect that with the next coming updates. And then after I get the game or the mod working nice and swell, very splendid, everything feels great and there's no bugs or nothing that is just horrible to have to deal with, but is just part of the game. Once it's really nice, we'll go back to adding the content that you love. I've got a vision for it. I'm just not quite ready to share it just yet because I don't have any sort of timeline or anything like that. But if you think I'm giving up on this mod, or you think that the slowing down is indicative that it's almost over, you're dead wrong. Guess again. This mod is sticking around and I'm definitely going to keep developing it. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and until next time, peace out.